Approximately 50 years have passed since the start of the game, and it's also been a day since I've played this save file, so I think it's time we take a look at this situation with fresh eyes and imagine that I hadn't been playing this game before. I don't even know what to tell you about that. However, Ethiopia. Let's have a look at the situation here. So we started out in 1936 and it looks like we had basically zero GDP, and now we have roughly around 10, 11 million, 9.7. We are the 21 biggest economy, and we have the 128th biggest GDP per capita. We have the 17th largest population in the world with the 102nd highest standard of living. So we have about a 40% literacy, and it's going to hang around there. That's pretty decent, honestly. Our government is unstable. We do have religious schools. However, we haven't maxed it out. That's definitely something I want to do. It looks like we are deeply in debt, 33k interest. So let's have a look. Anything governmental we can do to cut that interest? I'm only using 3 road maintenances, and I kind of feel like I need to keep those going, so that's fine. Can I make the petty bourgeoisie happy? If I can make the petty bourgeoisie happy, they would have a 10% loan interest rate effect. So let's see what we can do here. They're unhappy due to low government wages. They're unhappy due to the unacceptable government, and they're unhappy due to reckless. So I don't think I can get them into government. So I think the best thing that we can do is just chill for a little while, let our country recover from that devastating war. We are still divesting the investment pool. They're building things like coal mines. Our economy will expand slowly. We are getting kind of stomped due to the French war. We are subsidizing something. It looks like, yeah, mostly useful things. Let's have a look. Our government dividends are coming from those gold mines. We do want to own those gold mines. Those are nice, especially because they give us minting on top of the dividends. All right, let's have a look. Military wages. What are we paying military wages for? We're paying military wages for the Ethiopian fleet, but I don't want to downsize those because they take a long time to build. I can't spend anymore. If I spent anymore, it would be devastating. I think what I have to do is I have to eat the road maintenance loss, boop, boop. Even if that will hurt my market access, that hurts my economy too much. Unless I can run a tax that would get me into the black here. I'll tax furniture. Come on, this has to get me in. Nope. It super did not. Okay, the tax on liquor isn't very efficient, nor is the tax on transport. I'll tax wood instead. I just need to be not losing money. Every time we pay off a piece of interest, we shave, like every time we pay off a bit of this debt, we save so much money. The power of the purse is unlocked. I am about to get the water tube boiler, which will allow me to mint more from my gold mines. That'll be big. Interest is slowly dipping, very slowly. All right, water tube boiler is complete. I'm gonna go to society tax. Let me have a look at what we can get here. Postal savings will help with investment pool stuff, which will help grow my economy faster. The water tube boiler, if I go to buildings in my country, rural buildings, I want to find gold mines. I'm going to set them to the condensing engine pump. This is going to increase minting by a nice chunk. Boom, get us into the black. Come on now. Okay, there's postal savings. More money's going into the investment pool. Corporate charters isn't very important here, but we can make use of corporate charters to help build up our nation in one direction. God, that minting jump really did not affect my economy, did it? Yeah, my economy is having like a massive stall, which is not great when you want to be minting. Oof, people are losing money, people are buying less. We're experiencing degrowth right now, and it is grim. We need to get the Orthodox Church out of government. We'll just have the armed forces in government to have an unacceptable government. It's okay. Let me cut a tax here. Oh, God. In theory, the interest rate is coming down. Every little scooch we can pull off that interest rate means maybe we can lift the tax. Okay, the armed forces want per capita taxation. I'm going to lift the tax on wood because I think that's actually hurting my economy more than anything else. You don't want to tax cloth, wood, and grain. Those generally really hurt your economy. Instead, I'm going to spend my points on fruit taxing. Fruit's less essential to your economy. And I don't want to be taxing clothing either, or furniture, so I'd like to take those off. I want to be taxing like these luxury, nice goods that they need to get high levels of things. So let me cut that tax, and instead I will tax luxury clothing and transportation. Those are things that only people of a certain level of wealth can buy, right? Level 10 to 99. So people of above where this is only a tax on people above a certain quality of life, right? It's not a tax on my lowest people. Whereas furniture, right? That's used by everyone for level 5 to 14, for example. We've managed to decrease the interest just a scooch here. The interest is what's killing us. If we could get the interest down, you know what we could do? We'll drop the textile tax. I'll drop the fruit tax. I will drop the big fat grain tax, okay? I'll tax the peasantry to the hilt, try and cut this interest. But you can see the revenue will go down slightly as people can't buy it over time. They're not going to have as much money. If only we could pass per capita taxation. You know what? Let's fucking do it. Burn the country to the ground if we have to pass per capita taxation. We have a movement for it, right? Alright, the industrialists support it, and I can just about scooch by with the industrialists in government. That'll give us a 12% chance to pass it. I don't give a damn about your revolution, dude. Per capita taxation is the thing that saves me here, because it would increase my tax take by 17,000. It would get me out of this debt so much quicker. I'm going to try to sell off these gold mines to see if someone will buy them off me, because if people buy these gold mines, that'd be real good for my coffers. Ugh, I have to cancel per capita taxation. The revolution is now going critical and I can't afford it. But we do have +1 maximum number of companies, and you bet your damn face I'm going to be establishing the United Vrystaat gold producers for that 5% minting boost. Plus, this will give a 15% productivity boost to my gold mines, which will help with the gold minting in any case. I'll go ahead and grab joint stock companies as well so that we can get more companies on the flow. Damn, okay, interest is coming down. Okay, there is demand for property to women, but it would radicalize my intelligentsia for some reason. Wait, why do you hate women? What's going on here? You're an authoritarian. Fair? Strange. Oh, it would make them happier. It's just that they are already radical. I see. Okay, time to cut the grain tax. My economy should improve slightly. Then we're going to cut the furniture tax, and then we're going to reinstate in here the road maintenance decrees. The market access should go up in these places. Not to full, but at least to be better. Then we can reinstate luxury clothing, liquor, coffee. I'm taking every possible luxury good tax I can. Ooh, 10% manufacturing tax income. Give me that. Give me those revenues. So it's officially been 50 years since the start of the game. Ooh, I should be researching quinine so I can get, so I can actually colonize these states on the right side of Africa. I forgot about that. That's important. I can't believe I failed on that one. The interest is now only 29,000 pound per month. We're easing off the gas here on the economy. Hopefully we can get ourselves to a position where, I swear, if a great power declares a diplomatic play on me, I may just have to accept it. I don't know if I can hold against another diplomatic play. I'm going to restore Gaza subject payments. I need that money. Come on now, that balance. It's so much harder to get out of debt than it is to get into debt. But like, here's the thing. Every piece of debt that I eliminate saves me thousands of pounds. I was really hoping that the printing from this would save me, but it really didn't. And that's kind of depressing. Like, the minting represents almost my entire rest of my taxation, which is crazy. All right, we've unlocked canned meat and canned fish, should we want to do that. I'm going to restore government construction so we can finish these gold mines real quick. I think that's worth it. The extra minting might be able to counterbalance the money that I have to throw into the construction to make these. 2 weeks, here we go. Boom, deactivate government spending. All right, there's quinine, so we should see now. The colonization rate is a lot better, so we should be able to colonize across this whole sector a lot better. It'll take a bit of time to get all these chunks going, but we'll flood them out slowly but surely. Next up, I think I'm going to grab modern sewage to get that extra infrastructure. I need the infrastructure because the market access price impact, MAPI, is pretty important to tax revenues and just generally revenues for your country. Something that might be worth my while is taking a look at my trade. I can't trade, can I? No, I'm still isolation. God damn it. Let's see if we can do mercantile. It's better than isolationism. That'll allow me to maybe trade some goods, sell some things, buy some things. It will open up so much potential for my economy. God, what a painful stall. I mean, look, we were going up and up and up, and then France declares war, and we're only now starting to recover to where they knocked us down to. Really, really painful stuff. But yeah, we're going to see a much faster rate of colonization now, which I'm pretty happy about, because our population will start to grow with these things. Because look, there's 200,000 people in here we can grab. There's 50,000 in here, 98,000 in there, 300,000 in here. There's a decent chunk of people all over the place here. Unbelievably, mercantilism rolled twice to go from introduction to consideration and is already on adoption. Its first 2 rolls, and it rocked up like it didn't give a damn. Oh man. This interest is killing me. At the very least, it wasn't a bankruptcy. I mean, it's almost as bad though. The good news is once you start paying off your interest, it does snowball because you have less interest payments, which means you're better able to pay off your debt, which means you have less interest payments. Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. We want to have 0 interest. But yeah, look at that gold reserve starting to curve back up and it's starting to speed up. The problem with debt is that it's parabolic, which makes it a load of bollocks. But our goal is to get debt-free, go down to just high taxes, and back up to at least low wages on both categories. There's modern sewage. That's That's going to give us extra weekly construction capacity, land trade capacity, reduction of pollution, extra infrastructure, and the ability to build larger construction sectors. We have a revolution demanding property to women. We will work on that. But for now, I'm going to grab egalitarianism. This will increase the minimum expected standard of literacy. And the main reason I'm working on society tax is because I want to get down to things like mutual funds to increase my minting rate and identification documents to increase my taxation rate. So these are just going to help me mobilize my economy a little bit better. All right, we've paid off 30% of our debt so far. So if I take a look, there's the screw frigate, so we can make reinforced wooden ships if we want. But if I take a look at our interest rate, you can see it's starting to calm down. It's scaling down and it'll speed up. We're positive £20,000 per week. Okay, I'm going to raise government wages and military wages a smidge because that will stimulate my economy and reduce radicalization slightly without seriously costing me much. Okay, to make the anti-Egypt bloc happier, I'm going to declare a rivalry with Egypt. It'll also get me diplomatic influence, which will increase my leverage generation, although that doesn't matter yet because I don't actually have a power block. I would have liked to have built a power block a lot earlier in this game. Okay, we're going to peel back taxes one click. It's not going to slow down the rate at which we pay off our debt very quickly, but it is going to ease off on our economy, taking pressure off, allowing more reinvestment, allowing better quality of life. Now we're going to restore government wages. People should start getting a little happier. Radicalization should decrease slightly. 1891 rather. So there's just about 40 years left in the game. Economy is recovering. Mercantilism has suffered a setback, but it still can get past. The industrialists are in government, so we'll see how that shakes out. Our debt is down to half of what it was. Our GDP is recovering. Our standard of living is recovering. Our population is recovering. Radicals are still bad. I'm gonna be real with you there. There's not much we've done there. But at the very least, my people pay a little bit less taxes. We've unlocked egalitarianism, which will give us the ability to invest in social security as well as getting universal suffrage, proportional taxation, a few liberal and progressive things that we can't quite implement effectively just yet. Let's grab joint stock companies for the +1 max number of companies. Looks like Gaza is fighting for colonization rights down there. That's fine. One thing I do absolutely need to build is a national guard in Ethiopia. So I'm going to rename this army. This will be the Ethiopian National Guard. And we will build some line infantry and cannon artillery. And this is mostly so that we can fight the sort of primitive nations around here. And in the capital states, I'm going to build 1, 2, 3 infantry plus 2. Well, here's the thing. Do I want this to just mostly be a defensive army? Or do I want to be offensive? I think my core National Guard should probably be mostly line infantry, right? Mostly infantry. Infantry are a lot better at... Professional infantry are a lot better at holding the line, I think. So maybe that's what I should go for. Having a nice group of professional infantry who help me with my prestige and they keep me safe. And plus, you don't have to worry about like, oh, do I need to have a special type of like troop consideration? Nope, you're like, yep, I build infantry. And that'll give me a stack of 25 line infantry that are just ready to fight at any one time. So I'm going to unpause my construction now so I can start building those barracks because I just realized we're about to be at war. The good news is while the investment pool is running, we are still gaining money. The Sotho, know where those are. Another friggin' bankruptcy war. And because it's a secession, I can't even change my military makeup. We just disband all these conscripts. Now I'm thinking, how much are they going to be able to muster here, really? Probably just a handful of troops. So I'm thinking like 10 conscripts, 10 artillery. We raise them now. It's all we need. We can send it to the front. As long as nobody joins them, it should be fine. That's so frustrating. That's where my minting was coming from, damn it. Okay, so Gaza has its colonization rights. We will sign those up. Thank you very much. And we should not have an issue fighting down here thanks to Gaza helping out. I don't need to pause my constructions. I'm only slightly losing money. We will get that back the second that this stupid war is done down here. I would like to declare war on Transvaal, which I will do once I have all of my nice line infantry, because I'm pretty sure if I go check Transvaal here, their conscription centers are providing them with what? Let's have a look. So Transvaal has in their army 0 actual troops. Oh my god, this is like so frustrating to try and get this to play nice. So they have no conscripts. So that should be a very easy war for us. We crushed their secession. Let's put road maintenance back in there to make sure that that's going. The minting should come back. Hopefully they didn't manage to nationalize my gold mines. I do still want to privatize them. I'm going to activate the philosophy department at long last. We'll bring you up to 95 weekly innovation, which is amazing compared to what we had previously. We have an illegitimate government, so I'll kick the industrialists out just so we can just have a barely unacceptable one. I'll cancel mercantilism. Who can I bring into the government to help me out here? The Orthodox Church? Nope. The landowners? Nope. The intelligentsia? Nope. The rural folk? Nope. The industrialists? Nope. Literally nobody wants to play around with the armed forces. Okay, fine. Let's enact propertied women. Okay, let's do it. So who wants to pass this? The intelligentsia. Well, get into government and help me pass this law, you jerks. I'm going to grab realism for the 5% prestige boost. At least I think I will, depending on... Oh, I think it was joint stock companies I just got, actually. We're researching the labor movement. I will help out my passive tech spread with that. What's going to be the biggest boost to my GDP? Let's take a look. So how do I look at my GDP? Like, what is actually contributing? Grain, furniture, grain, fish, grain, iron... I'm going to go with clothing manufacturers. Let's have a look at the biggest buy orders by price. I think grain is pretty big. I think either grain or clothing here is a good shop. So we got mostly millet farms as far as I can tell down here. So I'm going to take a millet farm company. All right, let's do it. So this will give them a 15% company throughput bonus. We don't need them to be productive to get that 15% throughput bonus. Oh God, what happened to my taxes? Government administration happened to my taxes. Let me pop in here and I will set my government administration back up to standard filing system. No, why am I losing money? What happened? Why did my expenses go up? I guess paper, but it went up before that. All right, low wages again. Uh-oh, why is it getting worse? Hold on. How am I losing money? Is it because I'm building? Stop building. So there's the labor movement. That's going to give us more agitators, as well as the minimum standard of living from literacy will go up. So I'm going to open up a few new laws for us. It's not going to have a big impact on us right now. Mostly it's a stepping stone to the text that we need to get to. Next, we're going to research nationalism. That 10% authority is really handy. Let's see here. So we can get enactment time. Oh, we can straight up just get an advancement of this to upset the armed forces. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're so close to paying off our debt. There's only 2.2 million left to pay off. Oh, that's so big. I'm going to take a setback here for a 10% chance to succeed. It gives me a 1 in 3 chance to push it forward. I'll take those odds. We're so close, dude. Just on the verge of paying off this debt. It's 1896. It has been, there's only 30 years. It took me 20 years to pay off this fucking debt, dude. That war destroyed my run. It actually destroyed my run. I can't believe France ruined this run on me. What else was I supposed to do? I don't know what I could do to pay this debt off faster. I literally had to freeze my economy. It's not like, I don't know what I could do to save money. You know what I mean? I got caught in a friggin' debt spiral. Now we've clawed our way out of it, but we've lost 20 years to this. Like, unironically, that's 20 years of recovery requiring. One war, 20 years price. That's grim. You know what I mean? But that's the way the dice rolls in Ethiopia, in Victoria 3 when you're playing Ethiopia, you know? Like, sometimes you get screwed by the dice roll. That's part of the narrative of the game, you know? Sometimes you get it real easy, sometimes you get it difficult. It's just that's how the game rolls, man. But my hope is, once my debt is cleared, like a phoenix, I will rise from the ashes. We're ready to do it. We are taxed to the hilt. I cannot wait to turn my construction back on and not see minus a bajillion money. I want to be completely clear of interest before I turn this back on. I don't want to be paying 30% debt on no amount of money. That's ridiculous. Oh, nice. We got propertied women. That's huge. So let's quickly talk about this. If I swish down into my unused arable land here, you look at these peasants. There's 700,000 peasants here. 25% of them are the workers. Since we now have women who are propertied, that's going to give us a 20% boost to the number of workers in our country, right? Because now 30% of people can be the workers. That's going to result in that 5% of the population will now consume twice as many resources as they used to, but they will now earn a wage instead of being dependents. Dependents make very small amounts of money, very, very small amounts. And you can think of dependent wages as sort of like a very low level of printing for your population, like people doing odd jobs, you know? So close. Can I unpause my construction right now? Come on, don't tank my economy. Yes. We got field works for 10% army defense. We're building gold mines. Once I have built my barracks up and I actually have a full stack of infantry, I can finally start to look to go to war to get more gold mines. Sorry, there's 40 years left in the game, not 30. 40 is a little bit better. 10 years to recover from a bad war is rough. But that's part of the problem when you only have this tiny little GDP. I think next up we're going to conquer Transvaal. We want those gold mines. There's so much gold down here. And those gold mines are minting us like £8,000 per month. So looking at my companies, I really want my gold mines to be prosperous so we can get that 5% minting boost and the extra loyalists. That means I'm going to come in here and I can see this gold mine, we have a deficit of 100 coal in this region. So if I come to my coal mines and I move them up to a condensing coal pump, they will start to produce a lot more coal. That should increase the productivity of, sorry, that's the paper mill. That should increase the productivity of my gold mines. You can see the jump there. I am not ready to support anyone's independence, bro. Do you see my economy? We get a nice little bit of bump in productivity of our gold mines. We need to get them higher. So the current average global productivity is 7.7. We need to get it above 7.7. That means we're going to need to build tooling workshops. We also need to go to our government, tap the reset production methods button. Basically, we need to bring down the price of coal and tools in Vrystaat to make this mine more productive, basically. God, I don't even have railway yet. Jesus Christ. I need more innovation. All right, how much innovation am I generating? I am currently generating 101 innovation. I can generate 114. So if I increase the college in my capital slightly, I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I add another 5 levels to the college in Oromia, we should be able to hit our innovation cap. And that will mean we are starting to catch up technologically a lot faster. Organized sports, 10% prestige boost. Let us go and research. Realism will be the last tier 2 technology in the tech tree. We don't need to research that actually. Unless we're going to go straight for something like civilizing mission, but we can't. I'm going to go straight for railways because we're at the point in the game now where we need to start thinking about railways. I definitely should have gone for more innovation earlier. I think that was one of my biggest mistakes when playing, which is why I want to get to my innovation cap right now to try to catch up a little bit to where I should be. I underinvested in science this game, overinvested in military. Honestly, I don't even know what went wrong with my game. I think it was just that. I think it would have been fine had I invested a little bit more in construction. I think I got really screwed by the lack of colonization. And now I'm getting screwed by the slow pace of colonization. I should not be colonizing all of these states at the same time, but I am, and that's what's happening. And now I just have to deal with that as a reality. Okay, we can put the Orthodox Church into government, and that will help our legitimacy a smidge, which is important to try to de-radicalize our nation and actually progress. Let's have a look here. So, peasant revolt is happening in these countries. I don't even need to worry about those at the moment. At Choli, we could try to conquer them soon. We need to wait until the military is built, and we can't wait till the military is being built until we finish building the goddamn universities that we're building. The nice thing is those universities are hitting us up to our innovation cap now, which I'm very happy about. We have access to steel tools. We're not quite ready to move into heavy industry, but it is sort of the next phase of advancing our economy. We're about to be out of debt. Oh, it's so nice, dude. I have waited for this moment so long. We're on the verge of being out of debt. Yes, our gold mines are now productive. We're getting a 5% minting boost. Amazing. Can I safely cut taxes? I can. Oh, well, cutting taxes should lead to an economic boom as people buy more stuff. So we will see money come back into the state, hopefully. But no, we'll see how that shakes out. So once our barracks are done, our next major expansion of our government is to push for colonial affairs. We're going to need another 300 bureaucracy. There is, in our capital, if we go to build government administrations here, a huge paper problem in that the current production of paper is insane. The current lack of paper, rather. And paper is like the maintenance good for my government. So I'm going to start building up my government a little bit. Oh, I'm losing money. Probably because my investment pool ran out. I'll build 3 paper mills here with the view of, well, being better off. So my people want to enact cultural exclusion, which is actually 2 steps better than the law we currently have. This would only radicalize the petty bourgeoisie, which is not that big of a deal. So we could go for a cultural exclusion here. Who supports this law? The intelligentsia. So cultural exclusion would significantly lower the amount of authority that we generate. We would go from 150 authority to 50 authority. We would also get less radicals from accepted cultures. But we would also get less loyalists. However, now cultures will be accepted based on a shared heritage culture, or instead of being a heritage culture or a cultural trait with any of the primary cultures, which are Amhara, Oromo, Tigray, and so on, it would be shares a cultural trait with any primary cultures in our country. I think we're going to try this. We're going to reorganize the government. We're going to take the Orthodox Church out. We're going to bring the intelligentsia back in. We're going to confirm we don't care about the government being illegitimate. We just want to get this law through if we can. That is the important thing. I'm going to upgrade my barracks from no organized training to general training. This will increase the rate that we can recruit troops. I think that's pretty important, actually, that we can recruit troops to replace our losses faster, in particular when we have a relatively small army. There is a significant amount of prestige coming from our army power projection, and we will want to build a slightly larger army in time. There's a revolution to preserve national supremacy. The Oriental Orthodox Church has joined it. I guess I will cancel cultural seclusion then and wait until they are more radical, until the until the Orthodox Church are a little bit more chill. And in preparation for building our first few railways in Oromia, I'm going to build a steel mill, then a motor industry, and then a railway. It's going to be an expensive process to move on up there, but it will be good. So I'm wondering, are there any things that I could incorporate? If I look at my urban buildings, I could be using baking powder in my thingies. Canned meat would make the price of iron go too high. Pot stills isn't too useful. Leaded glass wouldn't be too useful. I would love to do sulfide pulping, but we actually just literally don't have sulfur. Steel mills will advance. Shipyards are fine the way you are because we don't have engines just yet. My urban centers should probably go to market squares, but we won't. And we will do gas streetlights. I'm looking forward to these paper mills because not only will they be government owned and therefore provide me with a little bit of productivity, I'll get to tax the workers in here and it'll make paper, which I'm buying in my economy, cheaper. So building paper mills are always a great way to make your government more efficient and cheaper to run. So now I have 25 line infantry that are slowly leveling up, becoming more elite over time, who will be able to fight pretty effectively. I think it does make sense for me to upgrade them into skirmish infantry because they're going to be my professional army. That'll take a little bit of time, and I don't have time to do that right now because I am currently prioritizing the industrialization of my capital. There's railways. This is huge. It's going to be a massive economic shift for our country because we finally have access to railways, which are going to allow us to uncap our infrastructure. Now we are going to go ahead and grab chemical bleaching, followed by mechanized workshops. Chemical bleaching just improves your paper and glassworks. The mechanized workshop gives you the really important economy of scale. So we can now have up to 30 buildings all benefiting from the economy of scale. Then we're going to switch over to grab reinforced concrete to get construction sector building throughput, which will allow us to build faster. Basically, we can get more construction for having less construction sectors. The good news is the goods for government buildings are coming down in price thanks to the paper mills. And we're holding a very small cash reserve in tow. Now, occasionally we do lose money, but that's because the investment pool isn't quite strong enough to maintain continuous investment just yet. But it will get stronger. Were we passing a law? Oh, we failed. Right. Let me kick you out of government real quick. Can we go to like protectionism or mercantilism? Could I get the industrialists in? I can get the industrialists in. Can we maybe, so I gave them a promise that we would pass protectionism. Let's have a look here. The landowners would get radicalized versus mercantilism, which would radicalize them. Protectionism is balanced tariffs. Mercantilism is more expensive to import. Yeah, let's get to work on protectionism. I'm going to queue up a steel mill in Oromia, and we just finished the paper mills in here. The steel mills on the way, then the motor industries, then the railway, and then we should be able to develop even more paper mills to bring the price of paper down in here. I'm thinking we're going to want at least 5 more paper mills, and then we'll see how we stand. Feels good to recover. Steel mills are coming online. We love to see that. Perfect. It won't be very efficient and it won't produce very much. So perhaps we can open up our building registry. We can go to our rural buildings and maybe I can upgrade my iron mines. Yeah, I'm going to pump them up to condensing engine pumps. That'll bring the price of iron down. Then I'm going to go to my tool factories and I'm going to go to steel tools. Now that we are actually making steel, we're only just barely making steel, by the way. I'll queue up another steel mill in the capital. This is the, there's a little bit of a pain when you're transitioning to this kind of economy. Now let me have a look at my coal mines. If we go down to my coal mines, yeah, we're pumping as much as we can there. Unfortunate. Hopefully the investors in my country are smart enough to see that there is a shortage of coal, tools, and steel, and they will help me solve that problem. This should be an easy problem to solve though, especially because steel mills, I think, are pretty productive actually. Okay, another steel mill came online. That's going to clear our steel shortage. Now we need to deal with our chronic coal shortage. So I'm thinking Rift Valley over here is a pretty decent spot for this. We have a shortage of about 300 coal. Each coal mine produces 60. 60 times 5 is 300. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coal mines in Rift Valley will solve our issue. So I'm going to put those to the top of the queue and prioritize them. This is the danger of industrialization, is getting caught constantly having to change your production priorities as you update your production methods. But this does result in a very, very high rate of economic growth and a very, very high productivity and a boost to your GDP per capita. Okay, we have a surplus of 6,000 cash. We're only running high tax rates. We're paying everything else pretty standard. We are running a bunch of taxes here. I'm going to remove 1 consumption tax, and then I'm going to build 1 more construction sector in Somaliland to get more construction in my country. I will run a road maintenance decree. Rather, I'm going to encourage the manufacturing industry in Oromia because there's a decent amount of manufacturing going on there. So if we can make them more effective, that'd be good. So yeah, every single construction sector we can build will slowly speed up the rate at which we improve our economy. And because we're not at maximum tax rates yet, oh yes, lovely. So mechanized workshops is fantastic. That will allow us, like if we come down to these millet farms were getting an economy of scale bonus of 20%. If we build them up to level 30 now, we will actually get a 30% bonus. And what that effectively means, for every one millet farm we build, we get 1.3 millet farms worth of output. And that's really damn good. And so I think it's worth queuing those up to level 30. They're not the most productive buildings in the world, but they are relatively productive and they're producing a good that is important for the poorest people in my society. Oh yeah, you'll love to see this, the coal mines in Rift Valley. Oh wow, cultural exclusion went through. What? Cool. I'm enacting protectionism. I'm so confused. That's actually really good because now if we go to the cultures in our country, where almost every culture is not being discriminated against, all of the other religions are being discriminated against, but this should just lead to two huge things. Thing one, productivity of our country should improve. Thing two, the religious conversion rate should skyrocket and the culture conversion rate should go up a little bit. For some reason, my church wants to enact restricted child labor, which I appreciate. But we are not currently educating people. In fact, I'm in the middle of trying to get the bureaucracy to be able to improve our education system. Like that is what I'm in the middle of doing. I know it doesn't look like it because I'm building coal mines, but I promise you that is what I'm doing. There's oftentimes in Victoria 3, it's like, hey, listen, I know I'm not doing the thing that you want me to do right now, but I promise you, I am trying to do that thing. When I play Victoria 3, okay, you know that part of Malcolm in the Middle, where Hal, the light bulb in the kitchen goes out, okay? And then he goes to the shed or whatever, and like then the drawer breaks, and then the light bulbs are gone, he tries to get into the car, and then the car breaks, and his wife comes home, tries to turn the light on, and is like, Hal, the light off is out in the kitchen. And he's like underneath the car trying to fix the car, and he like rolls down and he's like, what does it look like I'm doing? This is exactly how I feel. I was like, listen, dude, I know you want to get children out of the mines, okay? I want to get children out of the mines too. In order for me to do that, I got to build coal mines so that I could build motor industries, so that I could build railways, so that I can build paper mills, so that I can build government administration. So like, I'm gonna get there, okay? But I cannot get there yet. Let's go to our building registry in our country and see if we can update any production methods real quick. So I could pump up my furniture manufactories to mechanized workshops. That would increase their productivity. I don't think we have lead, which means I can't improve our leaded glasses. That's fine. Some industries can just be inefficient. It sucks. Like, I would do anything for sulfur right now to make these paper mills more productive, but I can't annex Hejaz, which is like omega infuriating. I'm building another construction sector because we have a little bit of surplus to spend. I'm going to be expanding my construction sector one at a time as often as I feel safe. Like every couple of months, we're going to build a construction sector wherever the upkeep is the lowest. We're going to crank that lever to convert more, and the exponential growth will start to kick in now. The line should start to curve up pretty hard now that we're hardcore industrializing. I'm happy to see coal mines in Rift Valley coming online. Hydraulic cranes is unlocked, which is going to allow us to increase our port levels. That's nice. Okay, I seem to be getting away with increasing my construction industry. So I'm just going to keep slowly doing that. Just adding one here or there every now and again. Slowly but surely, we build it up. All right, I'm going to subsidize the military shipyards to make man-of-wars cheaper. Remember the days that we thought we might conquer Madagascar? Remember when we were hopeful? Remember when our hearts were filled with hope? And now we're just happy if we can just make it to the end of the game? We might make it. Another construction sector is coming online August 15th, 1903. There we go. Each one costs a little bit, and each one, because we're building them in Somaliland where there actually is a supply of iron, that's pretty good. There's also some steel mills coming online here, which will help in the long run too. Somaliland will be a very useful hub. Oh yes, look at that conversion. We've managed to convert the vast majority of this to Oriental Orthodox. I think I can get away with one more construction sector, and then that's about it for a while. 51% of my population is still peasants, so the conversion over to an industrialized population is about 1/3 complete, getting close to half. Ooh, we can choose nihilism. Hey, listen, we hate nihilism. So there's realism. This guy wants to get rid of the church. He wants to make us state atheists, and we are proud Orthodox. And now he's gone. No more state atheism here. Let's have a look here. So we have Isaias Agame. He's a protectionist. We can have him become a royalist. Join the royalists. For some reason, my laws are failing to trigger setbacks, and I don't know why. Maybe I need to reload the game or something. We'll see. Because it's at 0%. The paper mills are coming online. Huge. Looking quite good on the GDP front. Things are growing nicely. We just got reinforced concrete for the 15% construction sector throughput boost. I mean, it has been a day since I've played, so I don't remember if we actually already had that or not. So that's pretty nice. I'm going to grab myself shift work here to be able to get better economy of scale building level cap. Now, I think we're in the phase of massively expanding our bureaucracy to be able to maintain a higher level of colonial affairs. And in order to do that, we needed to expand our paper production because we have a rather large deficit of paper. It's kind of painful that we don't have a source of sulfur. It's like really painful that we don't. Question is, I think I still have isolationism. So once I get rid of isolationism, we might be able to actually import sulfur. One day, hopefully. Beautiful. The paper mills are coming online. The people's wealth is growing. I am only at high taxation. That's fine. How's our population doing? That's the real question here. So we're down to 51% peasants. So we are slowly industrializing away the peasantry. Beautiful. The paper mills have just come online, which means we can now start to expand the government administration. I will allow these millet farms to finish first because they'll only take a few months. Let's have a look at how many government administrations we need. So I get 65 per government administration, and I want to max out all of these institutions. So I'm gonna need a ton of government capacity. I think I had started to build these. I might have accidentally lost a little bit of my data. Yeah, do you know what? I think I did. I think I forgot to make a save file, and then I exited without making an autosave exit. Yeah. Because I had definitely conquered some of this stuff here. That's no big deal. We had conquered Transvaal as well. Well, what's the status of my military? That's the other question. All right, let's conquer Transvaal real quick. I think things got a little chaotic because I was screwing around yesterday after the game and I forgot to make a save file. No big deal. Our goal is to massively expand the rate at which we colonize Africa. I think I had made Funge my vassal as well, but I don't think that went through because of the loss of the save file. Feels bad, man. This looks like a native uprising. I'm going to add some conquer states, make sure that I conquer this and that I conquer this. They're uncertain. Make sure I make those primary. I can't add anything else because I'm taking everything. They're basically not going to exist after this war. That's perfect. Oh, it feels good to be out of debt and to have an economy that's growing quickly. This war should be pretty straightforward. We'll be able to get a bunch of gold from it. Alrighty, let us start to advance the Colonial Affairs Institution. This will triple our colonial growth rate. Gazan colonization rights, that's perfect. There are 30 years left in the game. It is 1906, and we are in the Battle of Transvaal. Should go fairly straightforward for us. We don't need to worry about that. We definitely need to start expanding our construction. We need to figure out where do we want to make our super urban giga farm. So let's have a look here. Where do we have iron mines? So Vrystaat has the biggest iron mines. I think Somaliland is better positioned because it's coastal, however. It means it's easier to do trade and stuff like that. So I'm thinking Somaliland will be the industrial center. The only thing is Vrystaat does also have coal. We could make it an industrial heartland. Nah, I think we'll maybe turn one of some of these other states that are down here into an industrial heartland when the time comes. So let's increase the institution of colonial affairs. I'm also going to increase healthcare so that we can get more political power to the church and a higher standard of living for my peasants, as well as reducing the effects of pollution and reducing mortality. And I'm going to be working on educational investments as well. Basically, I'm going to be working on all of these while we build a massive bureaucracy to maintain it. So currently, a paper mill produces about 50 paper, so we should be able to manage about 2 bureaucracies each. So I think I can add another 5 government administrations here comfortably, and I will. I am subsidizing the urban center to make sure that we have enough extra infrastructure, because the urban centers do give you a small bit of infrastructure. There's shift work, which will give us economy of scale bonuses. That's really nice. I really need protectionism to pass. I think protectionism is having some weird bug where it's not cancelling for some reason. So I'll cancel protectionism and I'll try to go for mercantilism. Tech-wise, I think we need identification documents would help me with my taxation. Corporatism would make it so that my Oriental Orthodox Church would become corporatist instead of pious, which basically adds the desire for regulatory bodies and wage subsidies to their desires. So that seems like a reasonable pickup. Yeah, because I remember defeating nihilism by just waiting. Okay, let's cancel all these trade routes. Then we're going to come down here to Transvaal. I will incorporate Transvaal. That will take 5 years. When the 5 years is over, we will no longer get the 25% unincorporated state penalty. We're also getting a turmoil penalty, which is painful. I am going to come down to my decrees. I'm going to put a road maintenance in Transvaal, and then I will queue up a ton of gold mines. In my government actions, I'm going to use the resetting of production methods down here so that things are using the most common production methods in my entire country. Our government is illegitimate. What if I take the industrialists out of power? Mercantilism has 0% success chance. Why isn't it cancelling it? There must be some bug because I played through an update to the game. So who would support mercantilism? Only the industrialists, and they don't want anything to do with my government. It's frustrating that I can't get these trade laws passed. Colonialism is now level 2, so we should start spreading across Africa at twice the rate. The construction queue is churning along. We love to see that. Government expenses has gone up a decent amount due to paper. And part of the problem is we just don't have a way to, we don't have a way to increase the product productivity of sulfur. So we need to find a sulfur mine literally anywhere. Problem is the only sulfur mine is in Hejaz, and I can't get Hejaz's Liberty Desire low enough for me to annex this. If I annex them, it would be fine. But for some reason, they consider themselves outside of my market. Oh wait, Hejaz is now in my market? Hold on. That means sulfur exists. Oh dang, hold on. This could be a game changer. Let me see here. If I go to my paper mills and I switch them to sulfite pulping, they will need 100 sulfur, boom, but they will produce a ton of paper. Okay, well that's fine. Then I can come over here. You guys just went bankrupt. Unbelievable. I will queue up a single sulfur mine that I will very, very slowly work on. All right, our health system investment is now level 2. That's fantastic. We'll start to get the benefits of that. I may hold these two institutions at the next level and just wait. Education is now level 2. We should start to see the education increase. Law enforcement is now level 2, so we should start to see the turmoil problems reduce. Why am I losing money? Because of the price of paper. Max taxes, make my government as legitimate as I can. Can't go into debt here. Cut wages, still losing. I will go to my government administrations and lower their paper demands. And then I'll prioritize building the gold mines, which are also having really bad production efficiency. God, that's a painful bankruptcy right there in Hejaz. Government expenses are easing off a little bit. I'm going to see if I can pass another tax or two. Although I think once we get the gold mines, I think it'll be fine. All we have to do is make sure we have the condensing engine pump. Oh, we got corporatism, radicals reducing, and our political parties will shift around a little bit. I was checking my building registry. I'll pop in here. I want to go for buildings inside my country in the rural area, and I want to make sure everyone is using the condensing engine pump and eventually nitroglycerin, but we can't actually make that right now. And hopefully that will lead to better minting. Okay, identification documents, we're going to grab those for the 25% or 25 extra taxation capacity and the Home Affairs Institution. I need to get a general in charge of my military from the armed forces. So who are you? You're from the Orthodox Church. This guy right here is from the armed forces. I'm going to promote him to maximum level because every time you promote him, you increase your interest group political strength, which should allow me to bump up the clout of this group, which will allow me to have a more acceptable government. Colonial Affairs is now level 3, and I think I have enough left over now to crank in law enforcement, which will help us deal with turmoil. And I think we have a few places where turmoil is still an issue. Turmoil, of course, naturally reducing your construction efficiency. So we want to make the turmoil effects a lot weaker. Here we go. The minting is starting to kick in from here. Very slowly, we're going to make 3,000, 4,000 cash per month. Beautiful. That will help us stay in the green and not lose as much money. The nice thing as well is the police institution slowly being enacted is going to reduce the turmoil. I am going to talk to Hejaz and I'm going to say, hey, listen up, loser. Your domestic policy, what is going on here? Do I need to pay off your debt? Okay, finally we might be able to annex Hejaz. I'll start improving relations with them. Oh yeah, look at that colonization speed, churning our way through the heartland of Africa, taking huge bites out now. It's taken about 80 days for a colony to be completed. The Tswana movement is looking for a secession down here. That's okay. We will grab you. Send you off down there, just mobilize my small army, make sure we get I think an industrialist is fine, promote you once a new technology is available. I'm going to go ahead and grab civilizing mission so that we can get +1 maximum declared interest, as well as a reduction in infamy generation against unrecognized powers, and the max colonial affairs institution, which will help us colonize the rest of Africa. I think that's all very, very good stuff. The construction efficiency in Hejaz is starting to recover, and I know for a fact that I need at least 10 sulfur mines of the lowest tech level. God, why are you using these construction methods? I know I need at least 10 sulfur mines to supply me with enough paper for the amount of paper I want to make. And by building in their country, we will actually make them more economically dependent upon us. And my hope is that that will lead to us being, a lot more powerful than them and being able to sort of economically entangle them and bring them down to the level we need them to annex them. And then we can start expanding our holdings in Arabia. It'd be nice if we could conquer most of this peninsula over here. Oh, lovely. Zambezia is now fully colonized. Let's have a look in here. Curiously, okay, there's no one I can release there. I could grant Zambezia to Gaza. It's an unincorporated state. Culture is not discriminated in our country. Hehe, have launched a native uprising against us. There's iron mines down here, which is nice. It's a decent sized population. They should be fine to have some basic growth. Yeah, there's no need for us to integrate this area yet. I would much prefer, I wish it was possible for me to release this as its own country so that it could handle its stuff itself. I'm going to cut taxes just a smidge because we're overtaxing now, and overtaxing always causes quality of life issues. So I'm going to start reducing taxation. Let me see. Let me have a look at our population. So we're just below 45% peasants. So I'm going to keep it. Are we, what tax level are we? We're still land-based taxation. So the majority of our taxes come from the land. If we could squeak through either per capita or even proportional, either of these tax laws would be incredible for us now. So let's see. This would radicalize the landowners, and this would radicalize the landowners. The opposition to per capita taxation is stronger, but the support for per capita taxation is stronger. So I'm wondering, could I get the petty bourgeoisie into government, boom, and then try to sneak through per capita taxation? I think that would be huge if we could get it. God, 95%. Wait, did you go bankrupt again? I think they just have bad bureaucracy. So with Hejaz, I'm going to start bankrolling them so they're not broke, and I'm going to, they don't need me to take on their debt. They're rebellious. They don't want me to take that debt anyway. And I'm going to fund some lobbies. This will transfer a small amount of money to Hejaz every week. It'll give us leverage generation from political lobbies and interest group attraction to lobbies that are in our favor, I believe. So it'll increase the interest group desire to join political lobbies who are friendly towards us, decrease the desire to join them that are hostile to us, and increase the desire to join the ones that are our rivals. Okay, perfect. Now, I don't know how to check the political lobbies in a country here. Is it maybe up in here? Hard to tell. Regardless, we are slowly bringing the liberty desire of Hejaz down to something that could actually happen. So I'm hopeful. This is a colossal waste of our construction ability to build sulfur mines like this so inefficiently. Honestly, I'd be better off expanding my military. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to open up my military screen. I will grab the Ethiopian National Guard. I'm going to build line infantry everywhere that I can. And there's kind of two reasons. Well, there's a few reasons I want to build this. First of all, I want to have a stable army that I can rely upon that will always exist. Second of all, I want to have more population that support the armed forces, because the armed forces are the current emperor faction. And then the third reason is the the prestige of having a large military is useful. We've unlocked the steam donkey that will allow us to use coal and engines to reduce the amount of workers we need in certain resource generation. I don't think we need to get to work on that just yet, but someday we might. So Hejaz is trying to damage our relations, but between bankrolling them, improving relations, and having them as a tributary, their relations will continue to increase. I am liking the huge national boon in revenue. So what institutions could we increase? We could increase the educational investment, and I think that's a worthwhile cause. But I am going to finish building the barracks first because I want that I want the prestige from it. Because if I recall correctly, if I go to my country view and I check over here and I look at the battalions, if I hover, oh come on, I really don't like the way the tooltips sometimes flick away on you. It's very, very frustrating. Right now we're getting 673 power projection from our formations. If we are able to increase both the size and the quality of our army, we'll be able to get a lot more power projection. Oh, right, I'm on low wages. Let's go to normal wages so we can bring our prestige back up. Yeah, if we can go to a more powerful set of armies, upgrading them to skirmish infantry, for example, would be a good move. The problem is that requires sulfur. So a lot of the things that we're being held back by now is just purely from a lack of sulfur. And it's devastating. I mean, look, we can build our economy up to a certain point, but there is a limit to how far we can go because we don't have sulfur. And that just doesn't feel good. Straight up, just not a vibe. Now, in terms of declaring interests, I'm going to declare an interest in Congo so that now we have an interest in the vast majority of Africa. Our GDP is shooting up beautifully. I'm pretty sure you can see the effect of the war with France on us. It took us a couple decades to recover from that war, dude. That GDP should have been going up. We should have had this curve starting here. And that's just part of the story of our Ethiopia run, man. We got kind of curveballed by the game. Ooh, yes, per capita taxation is now at phase 2, so we will be able to get it passed. I'm excited about that. After we have civilizing mission, I'm going to come over to steel frame buildings and grab that. I think think I would like to start building a steel construction industry. We finished the colonization of Equatoria, and every time we finish the colonization of somewhere, it'll speed up the colonization of the rest of our plots. Turkana has started a diplomatic play against us. I assume this is a native uprising. I will just mobilize my small National Guard forces and send them to deal with Turkana. Once this uprising is done, I'll probably start conquering the Great Lake states along here. Their civilizing mission, that's going to reduce our infamy generation. I'm also going to increase my institution here. This is going to be 0.4 colonial growth generation, meaning we'll colonize even faster. I'm going to drop taxes slightly here because I don't think I need them. We've got plenty of minting going on. I will start my chain of diplomatic plays against the people here, whatever they're called, the Achioli. And we'll conquer them progressively. Like one, then we'll, like once the war breaks out with this one, we'll set the war goal to the next one, and we'll just kind of cut them down one at a time. Our power projection is now up to 40. That's beautiful. And if I check the old national situation, we've got a power projection of 1,393. So it's slowly increasing. We're going to see military wages increase significantly. I think the war is now over. Let's go ahead and make the next diplomatic demand. Although I should be careful not to go too high on the infamy, because that will make these guys less likely to want to decrease their autonomy. Diplomatic demands, whatever. I will just go and conquer them one by one. I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Colonial affairs is now level 4. Amazing. Let's have a look around. We want to make sure that we're colonizing the places that does not have severe malaria. So we'll colonize Zanj first. Then I don't mind doing one place with severe malaria, which for me will be Congo Oriental. It'll take a very, very long time to colonize that because of the severe malaria, but once all the other ones are done, it shouldn't be so bad. Oh my god, we have per capita taxation. That is huge. That is so much value being captured there. And we just got steel frame buildings. That's going to allow us to revolutionize. The combination of those two things is like revolutionary for our country. I'm going to grab mutual funds for the 10% minting boost. And now I need to choose where my industrial modernization heartland is going to be. And I think it's going to be Lindy because of the presence of coal mines and iron mines here. So here's what we're going to do. What we want to do is to build a construction sector here that makes use of steel frame buildings. Oh no, it needs explosives. I still need to annex. Hejaz. Okay, fine, whatever. I think what I will... okay, we'll leave it then. Never mind. We can't do that. We literally, our entire strategy has hinged on Hejaz, and Hejaz has just been so... Like, for some reason, they weren't in our market. I didn't want to be, so we couldn't actually, like, bring them in. Okay, the Luo seceded. It's fine. What do we work on next? I love how the petty bourgeoisie for the proportional taxation to pass, and they don't even support it. Like, I literally cannot. I think that's wild. Like, a petition should mean that the party supports it. That's my take. I'm going to try to enact migration controls, which will sort of open up the movement of my population around my country, is the hope. My god, wait. Uganda has skirmish infantry, which is wild. Wait, what the fuck? What happened to my conquer goal? I took the infamy. Oh my god, the war goal disappearing mid-war thing happened. Oh no. God, that's infuriating. That is probably the most infuriating bug in the latest patch, is the war goals disappearing mid-war. Because I just ate a bunch of infamy for nothing there, right? I don't know if that's very fair. I think there's a severe lack of clothing in my country because it's looking like these are very, very productive. So if I built some clothing factories, it would be nice. Everything else would be like zero productivity, but textile mills, I think that's the thing for me to expand right now. So I'll expand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, about 10 productivity is a reasonable amount. It's a little frustrating. I mean, you do kind of have to accept that that's part of the game when you're playing a newly released patch. Huh? Why can't I just conquer these guys? Oh, I have a claim here. Oh, that's silly. Is that why I lost my thing? That is, I mean, look, if you lose a conquer war goal because you got a claim, it should automatically switch to being a claim war goal. That's my scorching hot, red hot take. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new construction sectors to eat up all of this surplus that we have. That just seems wild to me. You know, especially, and I feel like if a war goal disappears, like I should get some infamy refund on that. You know what I mean? It feels a little unfair that I'm eating the full penalty for something that I couldn't even claim. It feels bad. 2 more construction sectors will get my construction churning, which is honestly the thing that we need more than anything. This war should be over nice and quick. I will start the return state war goal against you as well. We got a Kikuyu diplomatic play. They would like to have freedom and independence. Okay, we have returned another piece of Uganda. I'm gonna kill that arts academy. I don't think you need that. I love the pluck of a munitions plant. I'm gonna delete that too. You literally don't have iron or steel here, so let's kill the steel mill. We don't even demand artillery in our country. Everything else is fine. It's just you guys got a little eager with what you were building. Let's also make a little bit of arable land. Let me go ahead and state actions and just reset the production methods in this area, and hopefully that'll make this economy less horrific. All right, 2 wars broke out in the same month. I will fight them consecutively. I'll just let me do this one real quick. We do have a movement that wants to restrict child labor. I would love to restrict child labor. In fact, I would love if the kids weren't working in the mines, okay? The problem is the children yearn. They yearn for the mines, okay? I cannot stop the children from going into the mines because that's where they want to be. Gaza is in default. Bro, am I literally bankrolling you? Oh my God, I have to bankroll my vassals to stop them from... I'll fund lobbies here too. I'll reduce my subject payments. Good God. I will take on your debt. You got 3 million in debt, bro. The hell were you doing? I can only do that so often. Now I'm paying money to my vassals to bankroll them. Okay, I'm gonna stop bankrolling you because you're meant to be paying me money. Yeah, I need the war to end so that army expenses go away. I'll shift up taxes for a little while we're waiting for that to happen. All right, let's have a look here. Productivity 12.8. Okay. Those are pretty damn productive logging mines. I think anything with a productivity over 10 is like super worth building. Like these tobacco plantations have a productivity of 11.4. That's a good ass building. I'll build a few of those. Infrastructure is looking tight in my capital, so I'll quickly crack out another railway. Low productivity, but it does provide us with the infrastructure required to fuel a large prosperous nation. Ooh, we finally have more laborers than peasants in the capital. That's really nice. And we got the colonization rights in Kikuyu, so I'll be able to colonize that place nice and quickly. Okay, so I think a huge percentage of my construction price is being spent on iron, and iron is very expensive in Somaliland. And I think the best way to grow my GDP quickly would be to build these iron mines, and that's going to require a railway in there too. So making that decision based on the speed at which I can grow my GDP by doing it. Mutual funds is completed. That's going to get us 10% minting and 2% less loan interest. Loving that. So we should end up with more free money. I do want to get to malaria prevention basically as fast as possible, so I'll grab philosophical pragmatism. I'm still I'm actually at my innovation cap. It's not so bad. 20 years left of the game. We're in 1914, so there are 22 years left. Progress is slow and steady. I'm the 10th biggest economy in the world, and I'm 65 GDP per capita. I have the 15th largest population and the 63rd best standard of living. Loving it. Loving that we're seeing the Ethiopian country sort of ascend to the fore. I'm going to lean towards the Tswana uprising here. Perhaps we could offer to support them against Cape Colony. Well, look, if you don't want to become my tributary, I don't want to mess with you. But if you don't want to be my tributary, I'm good. I'm not fighting a war for nothing. We just got rifling, which unlocks munition plants, but that's pointless because we don't have sulfur. But it's interesting. I didn't realize that lacking sulfur would be just a devastating impact on our country. This is teaching me a lot. Okay, we need to cancel enacting migration controls and immediately restrict child labor, because there is a massive revolution brewing to do with child labor. I mean, child labor reduction is nice because it will allow us to increase education. And then the other thing we need to do is also to increase our bureaucracy, but I will wait until these iron mines and things are done. I will queue up another 10 government administrations in Oromia. Take 19 months to burn through all this, but we'll let that. Yeah, you'll love to see the price of iron coming down, because that's basically the price of construction coming down for me. Okay, apparently the industrialists and the aristocrats want to keep child labor and are angry enough to start a revolution over it. What the fuck? They have 108 child labor they're so mad. They're like, no, the children must be in the mines. How dare you try to take the children from the mines? The children love the mines. Haven't you heard of Minecraft? They want to be there. That's where they belong. They yearn. The children yearn for the mines. And my people are like, well, maybe children should go to school. Maybe. Except it's more like, get the children out of the mines, put them in schools instead. So basically, there's a massive political debate going on in my country where you've got the industrialists and the landowners on one side screaming that children belong in the mines, And then on the other side, you have another group that is the intelligentsia and the priests who are like, no, put the children in school. And to be honest with you, those are exactly the people that I expect to have on each side, okay? I expect the industrialists to want children in factories because they want cheap labor. I expect the landowners to want children to work in the fields because they want cheap labor. I expect the intelligentsia to want children in school so they can be educated, to be smarter, to be more productive citizens. And I expect the priests to want children to be in school. Maybe I shouldn't say that one. Anyway, we just finished researching political pragmatism. So that's a 10% influence boost and 10 maneuvers per diplomatic play and a 5% bureaucracy population cost multiplier, which means we won't need quite as much bureaucracy to manage our population. I'm going to research investment banks to get us +1 max number of companies and a reduction in the urbanization that we require per urban center. That's a really, really nice pair of things. It's going to help us out quite a bit. Oh my God, sweet baby Jesus, Hijaz is ready to become a vassal. Boom. Welcome to vassalage. Oh my God, is the USA invading Russia? What is happening? What is the French Republic doing conquering Novgorod? Oh my God. Okay, we now have restricted child labor. So the consequences of restricted child labor are broad. First of all, child labor increases the income of your dependents. Dependents have a different income amount depending on the type of dependent they are. I forget exactly how it works, but certain jobs, their dependents make more money than other certain jobs. In fact, if I pull up the, yes, here it is. So dependents have a wage. They have a very, very small base wage. So let me scroll in here and I will go to my population and we'll look at the peasants first. Peasants are great because they're the worst. You can see here, dependents make 0.004 per dependent. So if you have 1,000 dependents, they pull in £4. Very simple, very, very simple and straightforward. I believe that laborers have better dependents. You can see here, if I go to dependents income, they get £0.009 per dependent. So not only do the actual laborers get paid 5 times as much as a peasant, okay, because a peasant gets paid only 20% of the base wage, a laborer's dependent generates twice as much free money out of thin air than a peasant, which really just leads me to think that the best way to improve your economy is to get rid of your peasants as fast as possible. Get as many laborers as possible. And the same is true for servicemen. Their dependents will create free income. Laborers, clerks, all those people, peasants do it the worst. Now, I think the way that works is that if we go to check the wage of laborers in here, so we'll take a look. Those guys are working in millet farms, okay? The average annual wage of a laborer is £4.29. So if we take that, £4.29, that's the average annual wage, and we divide it by 52 weeks, or actually, that would be basically a tenth of a pound per week per pop. So what if we take that 0.009 and we multiply that by 365? The average dependent just creates, out of thin air, £3.3 a year that is spent on a variety of things. If we multiply that by 1,000, that's not bad. Honestly, it's a decent amount of money. It's like a decent amount of money just printed by having more population. Oh, huge. Finally, the people support census suffrage. I really wish they had picked a different thing. So what's the support level? The support level is very high. If I can pull in census suffrage, okay, we'll start enacting it. Everyone who supports it, who are the people that support it again? God, let me see. The industrialists and the intelligentsia. So those are who I need to bring into government. I'll bring the industrialists and the intelligentsia in, and then I'll reform the government. Oh, wow. That gives me a contested government. My king is an intelligentsia. That's big. So now our chance, we're basically gonna invoke voting rights. Awesome. There is a movement that wants to preserve autocracy, and they are very powerful. So I may have to cancel census suffrage, depending on how quickly this revolution brews. Let's just keep that. We're gonna try to keep the civil war nice and cold. Keep it cold. Don't let it boil over. Keep it cold, because if we can keep it cold, we can sneak on through voting rights, and that'll revolutionize our country. Oh, census suffrage is in enactment. Okay, we gotta hold back the revolution for 200 days. I don't know if we can do that. I mean, I'll try. Okay, I'm gonna lower taxes, and I'm gonna cut all of my consumption taxes to get the enactment time reduced by having excess stuff. So 91 days is all we need to make it, and we get this. Uh-oh. All right, let's make some armies. Okay, for some reason the mobilize button is like off screen, but I'm going to start mobilizing. There's investment banks. Let's assault this really hard. Jesus Christ. This is going to destroy my country again. All I wanted was voting rights. There's vacuum packaging. I just wanted human rights. Let's research socialism. So there's sense of suffrage. Now our pops that are literate will get votes. There is a wealth threshold for voting as well. Let's reinstitute the old ye old taxation. All right, we're attacking, and I'm going to set this right here as my strategic objective, as is my capital. We need to open this up, the route to the capital. In terms of companies, I haven't even really thought about which company I would like. It'd be nice if we had some sort of iron mining one, like Vrystaat Premium Metals. Okay, hopefully we can restore access to our whole market here and win this aristocratic revolt thing nice and quick. Hedjaz is in default again. God, you son of a jerk. I absolve your obligation. Why won't you let me take on your debt? You're the worst. The capital was surrounded, but no longer will they be able to hold it. We are winning the war. It's a costly war, both in human lives and in financial lives. We all know which one is more important. All right, they're 50% of the way to capitulating. Yes, I'm aware that my entire nation is isolated from my market. Let me go ahead and tap the reset production methods button everywhere. Keep crap from getting too crazy. This will hurt our GDP, and there will be an adjustment period. Gadoosh. We're going to come in up here and we're going to increase our education investment. The British have started a diplomatic play against us. They want to conquer Zululand. What is in Zululand? Let's have a look. What's here? Nothing. British, you are welcome. Now you've asked for too much. Now I'm going to ask to take Cape Colony off you, and I'm going to ask you to feck off. To feck right off. Okay, let me disband every army except for my main one. Then let me have a look at the National Guard. Unfortunately, I don't have sulfur, so I can't go to skirmish infantry yet. It's a bit of a bother, and my cannon artillery aren't exactly that much better, so I will be sticking to my line infantry. Alright, we've got a massive army to mobilise. Let's raise up our conscripts. Another bankruptcy war, my favourite. Let me split off a group of 30 line infantry who are going to be our coastal defense forces. I'll get a guy who can do adamant defense, and they'll be stationed up here in the Ethiopia HQ. Then I'm going to grab another 30 of my line infantry who will be put into a new army. Boom. And they will be given a adamant defense commander as well, and then put in charge of the Zanj HQ, while my actual main army will do the fighting down in Cape Colony. All I want is Cape Colony. I don't want to give up that nice tasty land of Gaza. Taxation is in order. We don't have to go to max taxation. I can sway France if I were to become their protectorate. What are we up against here? British army. I mean, they've got pretty scary armies, but like, I've got a really big army. Okay, I'm going to recruit this guy. I'll set him to pillage, and I will promote him a bunch of times, and he will be my main attacker. What's the current government legitimacy? Current government legitimacy is perfect. No notes, no changes. Isolationism, please God. Ooh, free trade. Let's try to do protectionism first. That'll allow me to actually start to trade for resources. God, do you know how long I've waited to be able to say that out loud? We currently have a small advantage on this front, and I'm hoping that we can exploit that by capturing Cape Colony here. When the advantage will go, if and when the advantage goes even, I'll probably cut my offensives down slightly. But we're still mobilizing a gargantuan army, and I can actually upgrade my artillery to mobile artillery. We'll start that process. I think that's worthwhile. We've unlocked socialism. That's going to increase people's standard of living demands and allow us to have more workplace safety. I am going to pop in and wait until whatever tech is getting researched next, which is human rights. Perfect. We have no one who's set to defend, so I will grab this surveyor guy here, put him on defend, and I'll promote him. A lot of fronts that are happening, and it's good to have a commander of a fight. The fight's pretty even. I could probably mobilize more people to assist. I'll just fill whatever else I have left with regular conscripts. Yeah, the battles are going okay. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get Cape Colony off of them, and that will be nice because it's another way that we've kicked the British out of Africa, taken another chunk of it for the people. Oh wow, our construction sector was basically completely reset. My construction sector was in Somaliland was completely deleted. Yeesh. Right, that explains a lot. We'll have to do a whole reconstruction of our country after this. The slight pause on construction while we're in the middle of a giga war is honestly quite welcome. Education is now at level 3, so we should start to see literacy start to come up. Now, we get a nice early game boost of literacy, but then the sort of increase is slower until you have really good education and you've actually converted a lot of your people away from being peasants. We have a good numerical advantage, and we are now officially considered a major power thanks to our massive mobilized army. The British want peace. but I want Cape Colony. I'm not going to just hand you back the thing that you used to spring an attack upon me. Protectionism has successfully gotten a success, so it's up to level 2. Just need 2 more successes and we'll be able to get it through. Let's have a look. Their capitulation desire is low and their war support is trailing a little bit. Just need to break them down just a smidge more. I think we're able to not only mobilize more troops, but I think we're reinforcing faster. What are we up against in here? Yeah, it looks like mostly skirmish infantry, lancers, skirmish infantry, and a lot of just a lot of skirmish infantry is what we're up against. Now, the British Republic has, I believe, gone bankrupt. Yeah, so they're not able to fight as effectively, which has given us a really good chance of winning here. Protectionism is now passed on to voting. Oh my god, at long last we'll be able to trade. Do you know how painful it is to not be able to trade? It's absolutely devastating to your economy. We're kicking them out though, and our garrisons are not even having issues up here. Go on, get some. Oh, you just want one province now? It's not happening, dude. I'm taking Cape Colony from you. You've held it for too long. It's my colony now. Under no circumstances are you to go to the wrong front line. Get back on the main front line. Oh yes, there's protectionism. Amazing. So we can trade now. And do you know what that means? That means we can come in here. Why? Oh my god, why is infrastructure so bad? My urban buildings are subsidized. What's going on there? I've got road maintenance going. Well, I'll queue up 2 railways and we'll get those done. Do not, under any circumstances, let them counterattack. Go on. Okay, yes, they'll give me Cape Colony. Boom. It's mine now. Ethiopian South Africa, eat your heart out. So Ethiopian South Africa is now my vassal. I'm going to reduce subject payments because the problem with subject payments is they tend to bankrupt themselves, and I just don't want them to keep bankrupting themselves because every time they go bankrupt you can't build in their country. Now, what is going on here? Hejaz, you're on your own. I'm not keeping my army mobilized to feckin' suit your needs. I'm demobilizing basically everything. Demobilize, boom, and demobilize, boom. Right, we fully demobilized our army. We can get a trade agreement with the Ottoman Empire. Yes, Queen. Bahrain wants to give us foreign investment rights. Listen, I'm not ready for that. Because what I want to do is I want to come into Oromia here. I want to immediately go to paper bleaching. I want to import sulfur from the British market. There should be some sell orders building up over time. And then I'm going to go to my government administrations down here. They're on the standardized filing system already. Let me go to my building registry. I'll go to my development buildings. And I want my entire government. Okay, my entire government is on it. Amazing. Finally, we can just import the sulfur we need. That makes my life so much easier. You've no idea. I am extremely angry with Somaliland. I think they disassembled some railways and some feckin' the entire construction sector. So now my capital is going to be construction sector. I'm going to import glass. It doesn't matter from who. All that matters is the amount. I'm going to import steel. Again, only thing that matters is the amount. I will import tools. We only want to import things if we can actually get a reasonable amount. We'll import explosives from Germany, and we're going to start building up an insane construction sector. And the reason we want to do this is because construction sectors get more efficient, like pound for pound, as in the amount of money you spend per level goes down per construction point, as long as you can get a reasonable supply of the goods. My infrastructure bounced back. Brilliant. And so in order to bounce back even harder, I'm going to start the process of building construction sectors in Oromia one at a time. We're losing our power rank, but that's not important. Let's go ahead and grab anarchism. So we're now able to make steel frame buildings, and glass is going to be very expensive. But we are importing glass. I will import glass from the Ottomans as well. Although actually I don't think I need to, because my current trade route with the North German Confederation, it should grow to get bigger as the demand for glass continues to grow. So let's place another construction sector there. We have another level of investment in education. That's amazing. The industrialists are very powerful in Oromia. 10th biggest economy in the world, the 68th biggest GDP per capita, 1919, with a 45th best standard of living. It's all very nice here. I don't want to form a power block in case anyone embargoes me. So we're just going to sit pretty. I will continue to expand my construction sector. British Republic is trying to colonize down here. We've unlocked logistics, which is giving us conscriptable battalions. We really needed to focus on technology way earlier into this game. We've also got a massive demand for fertilizer. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to go to our rural buildings, and we're going to go to soil enriched farming and increased wool gathering. As part of our agricultural revolution, we're going to wait 2 weeks to let the goods sort of re-normalize at their new production levels and their new demand levels. We can see grain has jumped down in price. However, fertilizer has jumped up in price, but we can import it from the French, costing us a lot of cargo ships. And in order to feed that need for cargoes, they even dismantled my ports, those fuckers! Well, we need to immediately rebuild our ports up to maximum level. And in order to do that, I'll build another construction sector so I can keep that fueling, because I don't think I can actually import enough fertilizer into my economy. But yeah, trade, very very, very powerful. Let's do another construction sector. I'm just every time I have a little bit of surplus cash, we build a construction sector. I never want to go into negative cash again. It would be devastating. Another construction sector is coming online. Some ports have started to come online, bringing us even more convoys. Our GDP is going to skyrocket soon once we can get more imports flowing. Right now we're stagnating slightly, but that's okay. Let's have a look at the port situation. We can't do industrial ports yet, so we'll have to stick with the basic low-level ports to fuel our economy. Steel is getting a little bit expensive, but that's okay. Let's grab ourselves another construction sector. That way we can keep pumping our GDP. Our gold mines are losing productivity, which doesn't feel good. I'll go for a clothing factory as our corporation, because we do plan on building a good few of those. Well, hopefully in time. Now we're making money from tariffs, which feels nice. I think I would like to go to free trade. Problem is it will radicalize a bunch of my pops. Let's have a look at our trade routes. I'm going to say protect domestic supply, which will remove tariffs on sulfur. And hopefully this will lead to these trade routes being a little bit more productive. Let's have a look at our construction expenses. The vast majority of our money is being spent on steel. Now, we do have a steelworks in the capital, and it's still profitable. It's currently 28.7 profitability. So let's start queuing up a few of those. 1, 2, 3, 4 new steel mills will come online, and then we'll see how they do. We've unlocked anarchy, but we're not planning on doing anything in an anarchistic direction. I will grab the camera now for the prestige. Well, I should probably research feminism. So we'll do feminism first, which will unlock some new things. Stuff we're not really going to get to play around with, sadly. I'm going to import coal from the Ottomans, and I will import iron. Well, nobody wants to import iron to me, sadly, so we'll leave that as is. The couple of steel mills have come online. Their productivity is going to shoot up. That's partially because the price of steel is very high in my economy. Now, a lot of our steel is coming from overseas. Oh, we're not actually importing steel, are we? For our construction sectors. I thought I was. No, but we're building steel. These are very, very productive steel mills, and I'm very happy about that. That's contributing to a reduction in the price of our construction goods. The cheaper our construction is, the cheaper it is, and the faster we can expand our GDP. I could bring the rural folk into power to get a highly legitimate government. We could move to elected bureaucrats. I'm going to try to pass a dedicated police force. This will take power away from the landowners, which is always a good thing because of how regressive and reactionary they can be. The North German Federation wants to have a trade agreement with us. I will accept that. I'm more than happy to have that little trade agreement, so we don't need to have as much bureaucracy or tariffs between us. I have enough government spending overhead to construct a couple more construction sectors. I'll build one more right now, and then I'll consider a second one after this one is finished. I think I'm safe to pop another one down. And I'm feeling safe to crack another one down. Now, it says it'll take £7,000 a week upkeep, but that's not quite accurate because some of it goes towards the private construction queue, which is getting depleted rather quickly, but that's what you want. You want it to be getting depleted. I mean, you might not necessarily want it to be depleted quickly, but you definitely want it to get depleted. All right, let's scroll down, have a look at the construction sector. Steel is now cheap, so I think it's time we started building some glass factories in here to make construction cheaper. So Glassworks is coming online. So I will queue up, I think 5 Glassworks is perfectly fine. That'll do the job. That'll get us kick-started. Infrastructure in my capital is looking kind of okay. I'll still pop another railway in there, and I'm going to queue up another gang of ports up in Eritrea to make sure that we have more cargo convoys available to pull goods into our country. We've unlocked feminism, so now we're allowed to give women in the workplace and women suffrage, which is basically liberalizing the laws for women even more. This will give us even higher workforce ratio. Our current workforce ratio is working for us, actually. I think if we go in here and we check out the shopkeepers, they have 26.9% of their population as part of the workforce. If we compare that to, say, the laborers, 27.8. It does take a while for the workforce ratio to change, but it does make your whole country slightly more productive on a per population basis. I wouldn't go as far as to say as I achieved everything I wanted to in this run, but I definitely feel like I achieved a lot, considering now laborers are on the verge of outranking peasantry, and considering how much I learned in this run. I think that's the really big key thing here, is I did a lot of research as I was playing, and I've learned about wages and peasants and how to actually industrialize, how to do political reform. I've gotten a lot better at the game the more that I've played it, and I'm quite happy with that as a result of these last couple of playthroughs. I made a lot of mistakes, and I genuinely feel like if I ran through this again with a similar playthrough, I would have a much more successful and interesting run. I think though what I will do is have a little bit of a think about who I'll play next. So I played Afghanistan last time, and the time before that I played Persia, and now I've just played Ethiopia. I'm thinking I might want to play another country. China is an interesting one. It's very economically focused. I'm thinking there might be an Ottoman run in our future coming. Ottomans can be, well, very interesting. And so I think that might be the direction we want to go. Let's have a look here. So the glassworks is incredibly unproductive. I need to establish an import route for lead. See if that works for us. We've also unlocked threshing machines, which will lower the labor requirements for our farms. Not that we need those just yet. I'm only going to go to some leaded glass production because we have not yet been able to find a stable supply of lead, and nor do we have enough convoys to really import everything that we want. And the main goal is just to bring down the price of construction goods just a smidge, which I think we are slowly achieving. Now, we should run the factory at maximum chooch and try to import as much lead as we can. I'm going to go through and I'm going to improve all the ports along my coastlines for the purpose of increasing our capacity to trade. I think that's actually a really important thing to do now at this phase of our economic development. We also need to keep abreast of any financial surpluses. After we research camera, I'm going to research pan-nationalism, which will give me an authority boost, and then I can go to malaria prevention, which will get rid of all the effects from severe malaria in my owned colonies and will give me the ability to go to even a higher level of colonial affairs institution, which is perfect. Took me a long time to get there, but in the not too distant future, our colonies will continue to crawl across the African continent. Now, I didn't quite achieve my goal of unifying all of Africa, but I did something, and I'm quite happy about that. I think something that would be quite fun to do is to see if I could reform the Ottoman Empire into a sort of full theocratic thing. I really want to try to make the theocratic thing run. I want to make a theocratic run work. So we now have dedicated police force. It's going to give us more investment into police. So I'm going to come to my institutions and I will immediately click here. We can go to higher levels of law enforcement. And this state here, Kenya, I am going to incorporate it. I'm also going to incorporate Rift Valley, sort of making greater Ethiopia. And then I will incorporate Lindi and Tanganyika. So that'll cost us a decent amount of bureaucracy, but it should result in a nice advancement of the political economic situation in our country. You can see we no longer just incorporate this little sector and now we're incorporating here, we're incorporating here. I did incorporate the gold mine area so that I could churn out the gold from the gold mines. Gold mines are just way too good, like way too good. It's kind of crazy. Okay, we've got a huge surplus of convoys, so we don't need to continue doing that. Let's take a little look at our construction sector. Steel is still a smidge expensive, as is glass. Tools are becoming expensive and explosives are expensive. I think the thing to do is to build another explosive factory, another steel factory, and another glass factory. Possibly even 2 glass factories to try and bring the expensiveness of these things down. And I'm going to grab myself like another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tooling factories because we just need so very many tools in our economy. Does that mean I could just take Metalworks Combine, which will let me build these faster? Like, how often can you disband and band one? Okay, you can do it every 5 years. You can switch them around a little bit to speed up the construction a lot, which seems kind of powerful. Being real with you here. Okay, price of steel has come up a smidge once again, so I'll queue up another 2 steel mills. Trying to equalize everything, make it all play nice. Law enforcement has increased to level 4. We also unlocked triage. Law enforcement is a nice one because it'll reduce turmoil effects. All right, 2 more construction sectors. What's the infrastructure like in here? Infrastructure is fine, baby. We're up to over 200 construction per week going into both the government and private construction queue, which I love to hear. I love to see that the economy is growing very rapidly. You can see the curve. Imagine if that curve had just continued. Like, look at the area under this line is like that's the GDP loss we experienced due to the AI screwing with you. That's just part of the game, man. Sometimes they'll screw with you and you just gotta, you gotta bite that bullet. There's not a whole lot that you can do about it. Definitely looking at the glass side of things, we're having trouble getting enough glass. The price is 8% more. The steel is now cheap, although it fluctuates a little bit. The glass is quite expensive, although that fluctuates too. And the explosives are expensive. What I really need to do is to only import things I actually need to make myself, or that I can't make myself. So I'm going to stop importing glass and I'll stop importing explosives, and instead I'll focus on making those myself. I want to import raw materials and produce the sort of finished goods myself, the finished goods for consumption. I finished the technology, but I wasn't paying attention, so we'll get another explosive factory in here to bring the price of explosives down. I think I finished whatever that last tech over here was, like pan-nationalism for authority, which is is, it's quite nice. Okay, let's use the rural people and the Orthodox Church to get compulsory primary school. This is going to remove any of the bonus dependents' income from my country, but my dependents will still make some money, and instead we will reduce the mortality of our people even more, and we'll be able to educate them even more. So we're going to compulsory primary school. Very happy about that advancement. And officially, laborers are now the biggest population in my country. Now remember, laborers get paid 5 times as much as peasants, so that's a really damn good thing. And amazingly, shopkeepers hold most of the political strength, as do farmers and capitalists. The aristocrats have been relegated down that list of political strength, which I'm very happy about. I worked very hard to disempower the aristocrats this game, and I feel like it paid off. Let's have a look at our development here. Okay, we can't upgrade any of our training methods. I don't even know where we have a power plant. Cargo ports are fine. Everything else is fine. When it comes to our rural buildings, I think just making wheat is perfectly normal. I think we will go to butchering tools. No, we'll go to slaughterhouses in our livestock ranches. That's fine. I don't think barbed wire fences are going to make us more productive. Increased wool gathering is fine. Steam donkey is fine. Also, nitroglycerin would be nice, at the very least in my gold mines, to increase the minting rate. I can't really upgrade my sawmills, although hardwood production would be nice, I suppose. In terms of my industrial buildings, we don't really have oil, but we can import any of these things that become more expensive. So let's go to vacuum packaging. We don't need to do pot stills, but I guess we can. Textile mills, we can move up to sewing machines. That should increase our productivity, as will producing luxury furniture. Our glass works, we're going to put them all on crystal glass. Paper mills are all paper bleaching. And the idea here is that we're basically just upgrading our economy to use more materials and therefore set us up for better imports. I'm going to move our financial sectors to being publicly traded, which will get rid of some of the shopkeepers in our country. It's fine. Now we are going to go through a short period of economic instability as our economy adjusts, and the GDP should dip and increase and kind of generally change. And then we're going to go to our market and see what goods have become sort of outrageously expensive. So it looks like we have a hardwood issue and a explosives issue. Luxury clothes and ceramics are insanely expensive. So let's go to ceramics. We're going to start producing ceramics and a small amount of luxury clothing. I'm going to upgrade my explosive factories to a more productive method. We'll let another month or two pass so we can kind of see how the market stabilizes and what we can do to improve it. Now clothing, ceramics, and luxury furniture are extremely cheap, which is hopefully going to have a corresponding increase in people's quality of life. I'm going to import silk from Russia because that gets me the highest amount. In theory, the Ottoman is the most productive one, but I'm going to import it from Russia. Even though it's not the most productive, it should be more than enough. And I'm also going to import hardwood from Russia to cover my hardwood needs. Law enforcement has reached level 5, so we should have basically no problems with turmoil now that we have a 50% reduction in turmoil and 25% less radicals from standard of living decreases. We could do a mutual investment agreement with the Ottoman Empire. That seems reasonable. We are now a major power. We're not recognized, so we'll wait until we're recognized to form our power block. We'll do things right, you know? We have a little bit more surplus, so let's continue to build up our construction sectors. I'll crack out 2 more. We almost have a fully built construction sector in Oromia. That means an outrageously huge construction potential here. In fact, I'm pretty sure things that are being built in this state are just built incredibly quickly. Our textile mills are unproductive because silk is expensive. And you know, the interesting thing is we can invest in silk plantations in the Ottoman Empire. So what we can do is import silk from the Ottoman market, boom, and then to help our supply, we can queue up like 16 in the Ottoman's lands. I will still need all of those convoys, so I will let the ports finish. And then the private construction sector can take care of most of the actual economic development. Oh yeah, look at that literacy rate just churning. We're up to 56.7, and we're going to be able to invest even more into education. Skadoosh. That's going to get us up to a 50% church political strength boost and a 50% education access boost, as well as a 100% conversion rate. I am curious. See, we're a top 9 GDP. We're a top 40 quality of living. We are earning recognition. I'm wondering if the Ottomans would be willing to give us an embassy. Spain would give us an embassy if they got an obligation, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that's what we want to do, however. Here comes the silk. So my hope is that the wave of silk that I'm building will make silk cheaper in the Ottoman Empire, which will then imported to me through my trade route. And it does look like it. And the reason that I did that is because my textile mills were having a really hard time getting to a productive level. Let's see if I could export some luxury clothes. I'll export luxury clothes to the North German Federation, which will increase the price of luxury clothes for my textile mill, which will make them overall more productive. And so that's the dream that we are trying to encapsulate there, is making this factory productive, because it's currently losing money, and I really hate it when my factories lose money, you know. We also need to build some dye plantations. Let's have a look at where we could build those. Well, we can build some in our capital here, so I'll build a few of these until they get to about 10 productivity. There you go, looks good. 20 dye plantations in the capital that we build extremely quickly. I'm down, especially since it's going to make our textile mills less expensive to run and more supply and demand 101. There we go. That's what we like to see. The textile mills are becoming productive. So they were down here. Now they're up here, churning away, making the stuff that they need at a very, very reasonable price. Very nice. I will take a trade agreement with Russia. I'm perfectly fine with that. Means I can export luxury clothes to Russia. You know what? I'll even export regular clothes to the Ottoman market to make my factory even more productive. Productivity should shoot up even more. And then I suppose I could import just a huge amount of cloth from like Benin. And I could import some tools from the NGF. And now we're talking, like, look at this. This clothing factory is off to the races with productivity. Cheap goods, expensive outputs. That's what we like to see. In fact, I'm going to expand my clothing factories another 8 levels so that we can continue to develop them to be extremely powerful. An extremely powerful part of our GDP. Look at the line. The line goes up, baby. All right, sweet. There's malaria prevention. We can also increase our colonial affairs. So let's go to our institutions. I can't increase it because we actually ran out of bureaucracy. Well. Let's queue up another 10 bureaucracy in the capital to take care of that need. We did almost finish those textile mills, but that's not important. The important thing is we're now expanding into Africa faster, and we get central planning. That's going to give us extra government dividends efficiency. Very nice. Look at that. Leads to command economy, lots of fun things that you can do. Awesome. The GDP of this one state is 28% of my entire country, which is kind of crazy. Let's have a look at our colony establishment. Okay, yeah, the colonies are now churning along at a nice speedy pace. We'll get a nice bump in bureaucracy here, which will clear that government bureaucracy deficit and hopefully allow us to increase our investment into colonialism. I do think it would be nice if there was something other than colonial growth generation from the colonial affairs. I feel like this institution could use a little bit of like an extra thing here, you know? Like unincorporated state construction efficiency or something, right? Even if it was just 1% per level, I think that would now start to make it, you know, like unincorporated states have a, you know, you have a reason you want to keep them unincorporated. You get that 5% construction efficiency from colonial affairs. It's something to think about. All right, we got a native uprising against the Bemba. That's these guys down here. I will mobilize a small army. I will set you to advance, and then we will clean them up if the click would go through. Okay, let's make sure we build another construction sector to eat up that surplus. Now let's have a look at these textile mills that we expanded. They're down to 13.1 productivity, mostly because the price of silk has increased again. Dye is still cheap, as are tools. Luxury clothes are still cheap as hell. I will export to, well, I can't really afford to export much more. We're at our convoy limit basically, so I need to wait till a few more of these ports finish. War with Bemba has broken out. We'll be able to clean them up, no problem. It's just a tiny little native uprising type thing. Oh hey, we can release Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, you are free, good sir. Oh, wait, Zimbabwe owns a big chunk of Gaza. Or rather, Gaza owns a big chunk of, well, let me, oops. So let me talk to Gaza. Oh, there's a diplomatic play going on. We need to get rid of that before we can transfer states between them. Ooh, central planning. That's going to give us government dividends and taxation capacity. I suppose I will get international exchange standards. That's another 10% minting, as well as a cheaper loan rate. We're almost a recognized power, which would give us really cheap loans. We've unlocked rifles. I can't believe we're still only unlocking tier 2 military technologies, and the game is basically over. Yeah, it just goes to show you how important it is to get those things early. So let's talk to Zimbabwe. Can I grant you? No, what I want to do is I want to take a state from Gaza. No, even better. I messed this up. I didn't realize I was trying to grant independence to a Yeah, for some reason, I can't take Gaza's main state here, which is silly. So I'm going to annex Gaza. Hopefully they accept. They didn't. Annoying. I'll mobilize the troops. Spain wants a defensive pact. I'll take it. I'll mobilize the troops just to get this done with so I can fix my borders. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to annex Gaza so that I can have control of the coastline. And then I want to give Zimbabwe control of some of the innards is like the goal. Colonial affairs is now level 5. We should be skyrocketing through these lands. All right, another 10 textile mills are on the way to try and get even more specialization of our textile mills so that we can import the necessary goods and export the manufactured part, especially because we've got our convoy situation fully up to snuff. I may pop back up here and grab myself higher level ports. I think that would be pretty damn good. It will give me access to steamships for shipyards as well as the industrial port to get more cargo, to do more trading. I love this. Like the theocratic monarchy of Ethiopia is basing their entire economy on a single mega clothing factory based in their capital city. I love it. It's an amazing move. All right, productivity is up to 15.1. We are importing silk from the Ottomans. Let's get some more silk plantations. We were building them in Baghdad. Let's have a little look at Baghdad. Infrastructure is fine in there. So let's go 1, 2. Get some more silk plantations. Basra is the next most productive place, so we want to just get as much silk as we can in the Ottoman market to make it cheap enough for us to scoop it out of their country. Most of the silk is making its way down to this manufactory here. I love that chain of production. The Ottoman market has really cheap silk. Our market has pretty expensive silk. I wonder if I go to my trade routes here, how do I make this bigger? The trade route will not grow because the trade revenue after tariffs will decrease. So what is trade revenue? Trade revenue is calculated by the market price in the importing market and then subtracting the market price of 41 in the exporting market and then multiplying it by the number of units. I see. So revenue per employees annually is below. Okay. I see. So I need to bring down the price of silk in the Ottoman market by building silk in order to make it more profitable for me to import silk. Right now, the silk price for me is 50.8, right? Does that track? Yeah. And the revenue per employee also needs to stay above £10. I need to know where that silk import trade center is. Okay, silk is being imported to here. I'm just going to cancel the Russian one. Revenue per employee. So what is the current price of silk? It's 49. It's a little expensive. And then in the Ottoman market, it's 40. Gotcha. Well, let me tell you, when these silk plantations go up, shkaboom. So I'm wondering if I can see, as these silk plantations are finishing, if I watch, I'm learning how the trade system actually works now. The volume of silk between our countries should start to increase, right? As they produce more. There we go. It's starting to get close to where it is. The British Republic is embargoing us. Okay, I'm going to grant Zimbabwe, Zambezi, boom. So now they have their full state. Perfect. Got a little Zimbabwe down there. And then the cool thing is, oh my God, why are you using transportation? You are the worst. God, please stop using transportation. It would literally like double the productivity of your building if you stopped using transportation. Now I have to build them feckin' railways to try to bring the price of transportation down in their country. I was going to build them more silk. Screw them. So all of my trade routes with Britain got zoinked, which now means I have a huge, mega shortage of sulfur, which is devastating. Establish an import route from the Ottoman market. Please tell me you have sulfur mines available. Oh, you do. Yeah, you do. Guess what I'm building in your market? That's right. All of the sulfur. Get that sulfur churning. My people need it. I'll import hardwood from the Ottomans as well. But yeah, that British embargo is painful. However, when these sulfur mines come online, my hope is that the demand for sulfur will stimulate trade between me and the Ottoman. 3 weeks from now, we'll see about that impact. Right now, my trade routes won't increase because the revenue is too low. The wave of sulfur mines just finished, so I'm wondering if they could just increase the size of the workforce here. Okay, I need to import more sulfur from somebody. Who has the least convoys? America, go. Give me that sulfur, please. It's crippling my economy to lose all that sulfur. I need to build something that demands sulfur in their economy, I think, to stimulate it. So If I build a fertilizer plant in Lower Egypt, that might stimulate the mines to hire more people. We'll give that an attempt. Right now I'm just on a fact-finding mission because I feel like this run is more or less at its conclusion, but I'm just trying to learn more things about how the game works. And I think I've really gotten a better grasp of both the military, the industrialization, the trade systems, the reform systems, the uncivilized or the unrecognized gameplay. I feel like I'm in a rock steady position to go into my next playthrough. So there's gantry cranes, which is giving us higher port levels. Higher port levels will be important. I'll queue up 4 ports in Somaliland first because only 4 will allow me to continue to develop the fertilizer plants in Lower Egypt, which will stimulate the demand of sulfur in the Ottoman economy, hopefully leading to better trade routes for me. I'm going to research floating harbor as well to increase the size of my ports once again. Another +4 port levels would be really nice. We can also do industrial ports, although we're not quite ready for those. The fertilizer plant is also extremely unproductive, mainly because there is nothing to buy the fertilizer in the local area. I'm going to build them an explosives factory here too to try to consume that sulfur and explosives and fertilizer. Oh God, I'm trying to stimulate the Ottoman economy to make me a good that I need. Well, look, we have actually stimulated the economy here. They are now producing 20 sulfur. What's the trade route looking like? Come on, this trade route's got to be looking potentially stronger. Oh, the sulfur mine is becoming productive. They're switching over their paper mills. I have just helped the Ottoman economy so much, you have no idea, by making them cheap sulfur. Look, I'm a very friendly guy, okay? I help people out. Stimulating sulfur demand in their economy helped stimulate the sulfur trade to my economy. And now these sulfur mines are going to start becoming more productive. They're going to start upgrading. If I wanted to stimulate the sulfur economy in their system even more, I could trade them tools and then they become entangled with me. Interesting. So I'm learning a lot about how to economically entangle people with trade. It requires a decent amount of game knowledge, honestly, surprisingly. I'll queue up a few more ports. Always could use more ports. So how productive have I made these clothing factories? That's the real question. All right. We got a lot of sell orders. Let's crank them up. Another 10 levels. Let's go. Oh yeah, you love it when the graph just does that little vertical incline. That's a nice feeling. It's a really nice feeling. So I think I would like to be the world's #1 producer of clothing. Let's have a look here. I'm the number 5. Okay. I'm the 5th biggest producer of clothing. The French are crazy, but that's really good. Like we were able to industrialize the hell out of this country. Ethiopia becomes recognized. Positive diplomatic catalyst. Boom. We're now a recognized power. It's May 1931. We can start a power block. We will be the Holy Crusade. The Great Crusade? Great Crusade. I think at this point, we're not going to be around long enough to care about most of this. Let's go for divine economics. So because we're a religious, I need influence. Hold on. What am I doing diplomacy wise? Let me see what I can do. How do I diplomacy? What am I doing? Oh, I have no rivals. That's the problem. Well, that part's easy. Great Britain, you're my rival. Boom. Austria, you're my rival. Boom. So that'll give me the diplomatic clout that I needed to start my religious convocation. Now, religious convocations are strong. Boom. This will upset everyone, but I do like that 33% conversion rate, and clergymen now directly invest more. It will take us 30 years to get there, but I managed to form a power block. We didn't really do much with our power block, but we did manage to form one. I think I'm going to release Zimbabwe as a protectorate. I'm going to grant them their independence. Boom. And then the idea here is I improve relations with them. I bankroll them. I fund lobbies in their country. And that way I can try to invite them. Oh no, wait. I think I just messed up. Ooh, I could get Rwanda. Hold on, I have an idea. What if I get Rwanda into my power block? Okay, hear me out. I need more diplomatic influence. Let me go ahead and do a little rivalry on Italy. Skadump. Then I'm going to take on Rwanda's debt. Okay, they won't accept. First, I will... I can't improve relations with them anymore. What can I do? I could bankroll them, which will make them happier with me. Let's see, fund. I could fund lobbies in there. Boom. So I need to generate leverage against Rwanda to get them in. And then if we can get Rwanda in, we conquer the rest of the area here, and we grant them some land. And the idea is we can build up a sort of a minor power. Oh, hey, what's this? I don't want your foreign investment rights. And then we can have a minor power who is you know, going to give us mandate prog from being a strong country. I don't know. I think it could work. Like Zimbabwe here is an unrecognized power, so I guess they only get +1. Maybe an unrecognized regional power. I'd have to build them up so much. I mean, we could do it. We can rebuild him. Damn, look at this. I kickstarted their sulfur economy for them. They owe me big. Our clothing factories have become unproductive. Let's have a look here. So the biggest expense is silk. Well, the biggest expense is cloth. So I'm going to start importing cloth from Zimbabwe. Okay, and now this is how I economically entangle them. Then I'm going to say, hey, give me those trade rights, you know. So leverage. How do I see leverage? Oh, curious. I really want to make a religious convocation work, like centered around divine economics. Appoint a governor. So how do I impose my state religion on Ethiopia and South Africa? It says here, okay, allows imposed state religion. Enforce an immediate change of state religion. So how do I do that? In order to do this, Ethiopia and South Africa has to have been a power block member in here for greater or equal to 5 years. So Oriental Orthodox becomes their state religion. 5% of the non-Oriental Orthodox in Northern Cape will follow the Oriental Orthodox religion. 2% of their country. We lose 10% cohesion. So we make them follow our state religion. Okay. And then once they have our state religion, okay, they will convert people to our religion faster. Clergymen, investment pool, contribution efficiency. They'll be able to use divine economics. I don't know if they will. And the religious convocation. Now, here's a real question. Can I build a power block statue in a vassals? You cannot build it in vassals. That would have been cool to get that conversion rate. So Ethiopia and South Africa, so I could convert them, or we could go early sacred civics, which would allow countries with the same religion would have a higher diplomatic proposal acceptance. Then we would reduce the liberty desire for countries with the same religion. Then we could impose the same church and state law. So we could build a big religious convocation, okay? I really want to make this religious thing kind of work. I'm thinking about it. We're considering it. It won't really work now because there's only 5 years left in the game. And I would go as far as to say this was a successful run. We made it to 1931. We own the vast majority of Africa, I would go as far as to say. We've had multiple new gameplay experiences. We have learned a lot about the game. So how do I make this textile mill productive? Well, cloth would be one way. So cotton plantations in Oromia, we can basically build those until they go down to 10 productivity. Oh, that's it. That's a wrap. That's all the cotton we can make. Well, we just wiped out all the peasants in this town. Rotary valve engines is finito. Peasants aren't going to like this when they get unemployed. But the hope is that will make the textile mills more productive. Thank you guys for watching. I love you all very much. That's the end of the Victoria 3 video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!